Hi guys, I'm just doing a quick video to let you know that, and this video is for the English speaking world and only for the English speaking world. On the document that Cardinal Fernandez released on Tuesday, there are now 2 English translations going around, which is very sad. Maybe they've issued a clarification. I haven't seen it, but on Tuesday morning, before they had their press conference, I put up on my channel what had been leaked in Italy. So I took a news source in Italy, Mess in Latino. And I understand Italian, but I put their text through Google Translate, and the text says it's always inappropriate to use the title Co-Redemptrix to define Mary's cooperation, right? So it was a hard no, do not use this title, right? That was what I read in the Italian translation on Tuesday morning. I did my video Tuesday morning, and I even put that in the title of the video. If you go back and look at my video on Tuesday, it says always. When the English document came out on Tuesday, people were saying to me, well, Robert, what you said in your video on Tuesday morning isn't what we find in the document. Cardinal Fernandez is saying something else. He's just saying, look, it would not be appropriate to use the title Co-Redemptrix to define her cooperation because it risks obscuring Christ's unique salvation mediation and can therefore create confusion and imbalance in the harmony of the truths of Christian faith. So it's not appropriate. It was kind of a softer tone. It's not appropriate to use this because the title risks obscuring Christ's unique salvific mediation. And Father Chris Alar, God bless Father Chris Alar. Father Chris Alar has done a homily on his channel, which has got like 150,000 views now. And Father Chris Alar is doing his homily based on the original English translation. Well, he says, well, look, it would not be appropriate because blah, 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 blah. But the English translation has now been updated to the original Italian translation. We don't have a Latin document to reference, so we go on the Italian. And in Italian, on Tuesday, when I got leaked, the word sempre, always, was in that Italian text. I even checked it in Polish today. The word is zawsze, always as well. So now it reads, it is always inappropriate to use the term Co-Redemptrix to define Mary's cooperation. So this is the current magisterium of the church. Unlike what Father Chris Alar is saying in his video, it is always inappropriate. This is a very sore point for Catholics, to make it clear, because millions of Catholics have petitioned the Vatican to declare the 5th Marian dogma that Mary is Co-Redemptrix. Like priests have asked faithful to write to the Vatican. There's been millions of petitions. I'm not kidding you guys. This has been kind of a global petition because Our Lady has asked for this in that apparition in Amsterdam that did receive constate supernaturalitate at the time by the bishop. So a fully approved apparition, which later got things changed around a little bit. So, you know, this is where things have gone. But, you know, we had St. John Paul II who used that term. I mean, Co-Redemptrix has been used. I mean, I heard it all during my formation. I mean, in homilies, priests, in our Father Gabriele Ruschini, the greatest Mariologist, one of the greatest Mariologists of the last century, has a book on Mary Co-Redemptrix. Maria Valtorta writes about her unique mission as Co-Redemptrix. And so look, guys, needless to say, when the document came out, everybody pounced on paragraph 22. But they couldn't even translate paragraph 22 correctly into English, giving it a different tone, which some priests are picking up where, well, it would not be appropriate because blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, because the expression requires many repeated explanations to prevent it straying from its meaning, it does not serve the faith and the people of God, it becomes unhelpful, well, we'll explain it correctly. But Cardinal Fernandez says it's always inappropriate to use the title Co-Redemptrix. That's what the document now says. The second translation of the document. If you look at all the English-speaking media, on Tuesday, they're all running with the first translation. go to the Pillar, go to the USCCB, go to the other docs. Guys, you couldn't invent the confusion in the church. On such a pivotal thing, you'd think they will get the translation correctly of that paragraph 22. It is really annoying for me. I'm not an official translator. I'm actually dyslexic. People don't know that. But I can... if that text was presented with me, I would translate it correctly. That sentence, because of how kind of pivotal it is. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news to poor Father Chris Alar, but Father Chris Alar has done a homily on a bad translation of that document. And Father Christy, you'll sadly have to go back now and read it, because now it reads, it's always inappropriate to use the title Co-Redemptrix to define Mary's cooperation. That is the current magisterium of the church. That's how they, that has to filter through to bishops and priests in your homilies and everything, seemingly. It's always inappropriate. This is where we've ended up. Mary is the Co-Redemptrix because Christ wants to use her as a model for all of us that are called to be active participants in salvation. We are not bystanders at the cross. Mary wasn't a bystander sitting there twiddling her thumbs at the foot of the cross. She was suffering with Christ. There was an act of cooperation with Christ during salvation. A unique act of cooperation that no other woman ever experienced, because she didn't just know that passion was coming on Good Friday. She lived it coming up there because she knew. She bore the Saviour into the world. Our Lady of Guadalupe is the image of Our Lady, Co-Redemptrix and Mediatrix of all graces, because she is with the Redeemer, and she's bearing the Redeemer who brings grace into the world through Mary. Christ uses Mary to bring grace into this world. The new Eve births grace into this world. There's a whole layers and layers and layers of beautiful theology in this, without eclipsing the fact that Christ is our only Saviour. There is no other Saviour. I'm sorry to rant a little bit on this video, but guys, we have lost it in the church at this moment in time in not being able to catechize people correctly on the correct understanding of Mary's participation. What do we make of what St. Paul speaks about? We're called to cooperate, all of us. Mary is a model in this cooperation. She's Co-Redemptrix simply because Christ is using her as a model. Be like my mother. Be a saint like my mother. Obey like my mother. She is the perfect human being. You have a model in her. If you meditate on this, rummage through it and understand it correctly, Co-Redemptrix, subordinate to the only Redeemer. A Protestant asked me the other day, why do us Catholics call her Mother of God? That title is always in focus of Christ, not Mary. Mother of God is a title focused on Christ because Christ is true God. Because some wanted to play down his divine nature, that Mary wasn't the mother of the divine part of Christ. She is the mother of God. She's not the mother of the uncreated. She didn't birth the uncreated, create the uncreated Trinity, but she birthed through God and through man. These titles to Mary shine on Christ. I mean, I'm not a theologian here, but this is what I see in prayer. And I think theology should be explainable to the ordinary person that hasn't studied theology. Guys, what are we going on here? But anyway, these two English translations, what can we expect from the dicastery of the doctrine of the faith after fiducia supplicans? What can we expect for them? Confusion after confusion. This is where we are in the church, guys. I'm sorry to call it out. Like, where are we going? Mary demoted. That's what we seem to be doing to our Blessed Mother. Demote her down. You know? Like, she has a unique and only she has a unique role in the cooperation with salvation. She has. Define it as you like, but she has. We've always recognized this. You know? And she's a model for that cooperation that we need to embody in our lives. But anyway, I'm sorry to rant, but as I said, the last 2 days when I was looking at the English world, because a lot of them were focusing on paragraph 22, you have bloggers, different bloggers using different translations of the same paragraph. My blog on Tuesday morning used the correct translation. The Pillar then ran with a different translation. The new translation has been updated. Guys, go to the Vatican website, read the new translation, see what you think. Anyway, God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.